I remember very well on a dark and dreary day, soon as I was leaving home for a distant land to roam, Mother said, my dear boy, I hope to see you next year again. Fare you well, fare you well. So I left my dear old home for a distant land to roam. So I wandered far away from my home, I've gone astray. Soon as I've been coming home, never more for me to roam. Mother said, my dear boy, I hope to see you next year again. Fare you well, fare you well. So I left my dear old home for a distant land to roam. I remember she said to me, yeah, she took me by the hand, if on earth we meet no more, we'll meet at God's right hand. Mother said, my dear boy, I hope to see you next year again. Fare you well, fare you well. So I left my dear old home for a distant land to roam. Thank you so much. I just got this new guitar, so I'm still kind of learning how to play it, so it's my warm-up song. I got a couple originals for y'all, and then I'm gonna do one more cover. I have a rule for myself, I only do covers if it's a cover of a cover. So that was a cover of a cover. I think it's a that's a Mighty Poplar version of an old-time song. So. Anyway, here's a brand new original, never before been heard. She's got tickets for a plane leaving from Baltimore this evening. She can't help but to smile and close her eyes. She's thinking of when she was young, her dreams as real as anyone's, before living life was one big compromise. And that's alright. It's been 3 years since she's been back, since a divorce and a heart attack made home a place she couldn't recognize. Now that she were faces at the table, no one's still there, not always able to look at one another in the eyes. Yeah, and that's alright. Funny thing about leaving home is home ain't never where you left it. So we make do with memories and wondering why things always seem to change. Now her brother's back in town. He used up all the luck he'd found and spent his last $8 on a Greyhound ride. Every night their mama makes his dinner and he doesn't have a thing to give her. She says, well, that's okay, she doesn't mind. Yeah, that it's alright. She's She's happy that her boy's at home, reminds her of before he was grown, before his sister moved and their daddy died. No one ever talks about it. A while ago they all decided, saying nothing's better than goodbye. Yeah, and that's alright. Funny thing about leaving home is home ain't never where you left it. We make do with memories and wondering why things always seem to change. Funny thing about leaving home is home ain't never where you left it. But we keep trying to make it so that everything we know stays the same. Funny thing about leaving home is home ain't never where you left it. So we make do with memories and wondering why things always seem to change. Thank you. You caught me at a bad time. Seems like you always do. Maybe time will fix the leak that's pouring out of me and only you. We've been getting older. Time ain't done nothing yet, except count the minutes that we fight and the times I couldn't spend the night beside you. Should have told you how I felt before today. Does it matter? I said I'm sorry anyway. And I'm not saying that I don't think it's my fault, but I wish that you just left and called it all. Driving back from West Virginia, coming down from those old hills. You said, how am I supposed to feel when you just sit behind the wheel and say nothing? Well, my feeling about you hasn't changed, but I ain't gonna lie. This whole world has got me down, and I can't seem to get around to loving you. Should have told you how I felt before today. It was unfair for me to ask for you to stay. And I'm not saying that I think that you're to blame, but I wish that you just gotten on that train. And I'm not saying that I don't think it's my fault, but I wish that you just left and called it off. I'm actually a very happy person. Bluegrass and country music is supposed to be sad, you know. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. At least I'm not talking about murdering wives, you know. Here's another cover of a cover, and I think this is the last song I got time for. Thank you all so much. Was on one bright March morning, up in New Orleans dew. I took the road to Jacksontown, my fortune to renew. I cursed all foreign money, no credit could I gain, which filled my heart with longing for the lakes of Pontchartrain. I stepped on board the railway car beneath the morning sun. I rode the rods till evening and I laid me down again. All strangers there, no friends to me, till a dark girl toward me came, and I fell in love with a Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. I said, my darling Creole girl, my money here's no good, and if it weren't for the alligators, I'd sleep out in the woods. You're welcome here, kind stranger, our house is very plain, and we never turn a stranger out on the banks of Pontchartrain. She took me back down to her house and treated me right well. The hair upon her shoulders in jet black ringlets fell. To try to paint her beauty, I'm sure it would be vain. So pretty was my Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. I asked her if she'd marry me. She said this could never be, for she's got a lover and he was far at sea. She said that she would wait for him and faithful she'd remain till he'd return to his Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. So fare thee well, my bonny girl, I may never see you more, but I'll never forget your kindness in the cottage by the shore, and at every social gathering a flowing glass I'll drain, and I'll drink to the health of my Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. And I'll drink to the health of my Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. Thank you all so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Luke Curran.